Hello everyone and welcome back to PSGL F2. We're here at Malaysia. My name's Cliffy and I'm joined again by Frisky CJ. Say hello, Frisky.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the title decider. Hopefully, it's going to be a decent race with the poor turnout we had. There's no denying that, but hopefully, still be a decent race.
Yep, and as you said about the turnout, just want to mention obviously some people can't make it, either they're away on holiday or they can't make it back in time, or you just want to do a 3-lap last man standing championship. So, you know, is what it is. I'm sure the people that were there and doing the last man standing, I hope they're not here next season, because just gives a poor thing towards this league. I mean, 8 people for a season finale, it's just terrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's
terrible.
not good to see, but hopefully, we'll still have a good race. Title decider. It does look unlikely for Skeeven now with the pole turnout. He really needed a gap between him and Bad Boy. That looks unlikely. I think if my maths is correct, if Skeeven wins, Bad Boy will have to finish 5th or lower, which looks unlikely considering the turnout.
Yeah, but don't forget though, last couple of weeks Bad Boy has been having bad races. I mean, he could have won the title in Austria 2 rounds ago, but
Yeah,
he just couldn't get the job done. And since then, Russia, he got involved in that one incident. Obviously, weren't his fault, but he did get wing damage, I believe. So he was obviously at the back for the majority of the race. So, I mean, if he's at the back again tonight, then I mean, power to
yeah,
Skeeven, I
anything could
guess.
happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, all Skeeven could do now is just try to get pole, try to get the race win, and then if it doesn't happen, then it's not his fault because he has been on a late charge considering that Bad Boy could mathematically win the title like 2-3 rounds ago. So it really does show, how much he closed down. So I think Skeeven just would want to finish the season with another strong result going into F1 2018.
Yeah, I agree. And Abby Odin in the chat, where does Bad Boy need if Skeeven wins? So if Skeeven was to win, Bad Boy will need a 5th to grab the title.
No, wait for Bad Boy to win the title. Isn't it if Skeeven wins and Bad Boy comes 5th comes 5th, then Skeeven will get the title by a point. Because
Oh, okay, so we need 4th
yeah,
then.
yeah. So yeah, basically,
Okay,
if Bad Boy
right.
gets P4, yeah,
Okay.
he'll win the title regardless. Yeah,
Well, I mean, there are some quick guys here tonight. Darren Sinclair making a
yeah.
return tonight. Don't count him out. We've got Zed on Mercedes, who the last couple of weeks have been really, really impressive. Not just me, but obviously, I don't know whether he's impressed you or not, Frisky, but
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he's a quick guy, no doubt. So
he's
yeah, he'll
putting
be
in
up there.
some work. And obviously, Darren setting the time 48.7. We'll see how Skeeven and Bad Boy fare. But yeah, I mean, Skeeven goes a full 2.7
Wow.
seconds quicker.
Nearly 3 seconds quicker, so he's out the box on the pace immediately. And of course, as this is wet weather, so obviously they're not going to be starting the race on these set of tires, as AMD sets a 47.8. So he's still about near 2 seconds off 2 seconds off his teammate nearly. So wow, okay, so Lambo,
Wow.
bit of a shocker there. It was a 45.8. Wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah.
Don't know about you, Cliffy, but
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
yeah.
But Bad Boy goes second and only beats Skeeven by
Wow.
I think quarter of a tenth. So
Yeah, really, really close.
all to play for in these last remaining 6 minutes of quality. And the people who haven't set a lap, Growing Spear and Poe. So, saying that, Growing Spear goes 7th with a 49.6. So now it's Poe. Let's go on board with the Williams driver. And it is full wet
Quick note
conditions.
on Skeeven. He's only going to have enough fuel for about this current lap and maybe another lap. So he's running low in his fuel, and Bad Boy is running very low. He only has 0.6 laps of fuel. So I don't even think he'll even get to do this lap. So a lot of varying strategies on fuel, because some drivers might just want to stay out there, lap consistently for the whole session, get some practice with the wet weather, get used to it, or you could do the alternative and go out twice and set a lap each time on fresh tyres. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean personally, I'd go for 2 runs.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
to obviously end the quality, track will be a little bit more grippy, and there'll be a line,
Yeah, yeah.
so you can sort of base where to put the car. But yeah, I mean, Skeven now in the pit, so he'll have enough time to come in and come back out again. But yeah, I mean, with obviously 8 people, it's obviously made it that little bit harder for Skeven. But you know, I know he ain't just gonna give up.
Oh no, of course
He's
not.
gonna fight until the very end, until that checkered flag, as Poe now comes around the last corner. ZR Mercedes,
Wow,
45.7.
very quick.
Ooh. Poe lost it coming out the back, last corner. He managed to save it, see what he sets, and he goes 6th. Wow, it's good time considering he almost binned it in the wall coming out the last corner. Has he got enough
Yeah,
for another
so
lap? No.
nah, 1.1. Yeah, so really, the top, I would say the top 4 is extremely close, like well within like 3-4 tenths. So yeah, that's pretty close up there. And then the full spread is quite wide. Well, it gains a bit more from 5th downwards.
Yeah.
But right now, Bad Boy's looking in a key position of taking his title,
Yeah.
as it stands.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, what's more important to note is that there are at least 4 people here on the pace, and with Darren in 7th, 3 seconds off
Oh
the
yeah,
pace. That's not that's not Darren's pace. Darren is a very quick driver, so
yeah.
hopefully he'll be able to get in and amongst the likes of a Bad Boy, Lambo, and Skeven. I'm not too sure whether he'll be able to get pole, but we're going to see now as he rounds the final corner. He's starting a lap, I think he is. So we'll have 2
Yeah,
runs at this. He's got enough fuel for 2 runs as well. So this
definitely.
is Darren's second to last chance to get within pole position and to mess up Bad Boy, because Bad Boy, as we know, quite recently has been bottling the last couple rounds. So hopefully Bad Boy doesn't continue that form tonight, and him and Skeven have a titanic battle for the title.
Yeah, I mean, if these 2 guys can go water on track, I think everyone will be happy with that. Yeah, it would be a good way to send off the season.
Yep, and Lambo keeps switching from intermediates to wets. So is this rain going to ease towards the end of quali? I
I
guess we'll
doubt it.
find out. Because I mean,
Possible,
it's still looking very like heavy, like rain
dark.
wise, and the spray on
Yeah,
track is terrible.
I
So
wouldn't risk it personally. I'll just put another sets of wets and try to improve the time. But interested to see if it will be raining or will the race be weather affected. You know, that's a possibility. As I think Skeven, yes, no, that's AMD. Sorry, yeah, AMD's going. Is it Skeven or AMD? I'm not too sure. I think no, it is Skeven. Yeah,
Skeven,
Skeven's
yeah.
going out of track. So I think he's just gonna go for the 1 flying lap then.
Yeah, just watching Darren on his lap. He did
Yeah.
improve on that on his first lap to go within a second, so he's P5 now.
Okay.
So he's starting to find a bit of pace in these conditions. Of course, this don't know what the weather sort of race, as you said, Frisky. So
Yeah.
I guess it could be wet, could be a dry to wet race or wet to dry race. Who knows? But I know one
Yeah,
thing.
very true.
I know Bad Boy. I was speaking to him, I think yesterday, and he said that he hasn't been doing much wet practice. So
Right.
I don't know.
I mean,
I know in the dry, he said he was very quick, because they said in quali he could set like a 30.7, and that is damn quick.
rapid. Yeah.
Yeah, and Zedon Mercedes has a. I think he left it
Pulls
just
it
a
a bit.
little bit too late. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah, he probably wanted to get out there, but I mean, if Bad Boy didn't practice a lot in the rain, it doesn't seem to have mattered because he seemed to be on the pace already. So
yeah,
I don't think there's going to be much of an issue. Maybe race pace might be different, but qualifier pace is definitely out there.
yeah. And of course, if it is gonna be dry for the whole race, are these guys running full dry setups to benefit them in the race?
Oh,
Be
that's very true.
to think about. But I think the rain has actually eased a little bit, so maybe we could have seen some intermediates.
I mean, if you're further down the grid, then possibly you might as well just have risked it and put on another set of inters. Put on a set of inters as Skeven is actually going to be starting his lap now, come around the final corner.
Yeah, Darren calls it a day, so Darren can't improve from P5. Skeven will start his lap, will sort of stay between him and Bad Boy. Skeven is in front of Bad Boy in terms of completing the lap first, so we'll stay with Skeven and flicker between him and Bad Boy just to see if they make any mistakes. But Skeever looking very composed so far. Back end kicks out, so I mean I think most of the guys are going to be running dry setups.
Yeah. I mean, when it rains a quad, that's, you don't get no points on qualifying. You either just, stick it out during the bad rain and just, if it is a dry race, then, you gain all the benefits in the rain and the dry, sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Just watch a bad boy. His back end is all over the place. He's opposite lock about 3-4 times during turn 3 there, so he's looking a little bit all over the place here. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, no, Skeever looks good. I've been watching him on board, and he's been looking quite tidy. So I guess we'll see. And I just went on bad boy, and he's off track, sort of almost half spinning. So
he's sliding a lot. He's not looking like a very clean lap, but sometimes might be deceiving. He might be quick, so we just have to wait and see come the checker flag.
Braking zone in this fast, sort of long swooping right hander is so hard in the wet. You don't want to brake too late while you're on the curb, and if you go off track there, your car just spins and there's no way you're getting the time back. But Skeever navigates it.
Bad boy backs off. Yeah, he backed off.
Power to Skeever then. Comes to the last corner. What can Skeever set? Can he improve to go past bad boy? He does, he goes pole! 45-4. Fantastic.
Wow. So this is actually quite crucial because obviously he gets pole. This pushes Bad Boy down into P4, just ahead of Darren. So what looked like a simple, straightforward enough job for Bad Boy, just Skeever made it a bit more harder. So this title fight is not entirely done and dusted just yet if Skeever has anything to do with it.
Yep. And while we wait for Lambo to come to the line, I don't think he's in standard. So I'm just going to say hello to people that are in the chat. So we've got Skeeven in the chat. So well done, Skeeven, on pole position. We've got Maxi Luca in the chat.
Big up Maxi Luca, yeah.
Bad Boy just coming in. Hello, Bad Boy. Hello, Lewis. Hello, Big C. Hello, Abiodun. Hello, Martin. Hello, Alice Killer. And I think that is indeed it for now.
So Skeeven getting pole by almost 2 attempts in the rain. That's impressive.
Oh, Lambo! Lambo improved.
Lambo, yeah, because Mercedes was second. So apologies to Lambo there. We missed your fantastic qualifying time there of P2. So yeah, so Lambo just under 2 attempts from Skeeven. So he's looking quick. As it seems to be a dry race here. I was on my screen. A full Cindia is literally in the... Yeah, that's good. That has really good stuff there. Just so you want to see.
Cinematic view there.
You gotta call Big Lee and the last to come and fix this. It's no need.
Oh wow.
Okay, so if my guess would be this would be a completely dry race. I mean, there's literally not one cloud in the sky. Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna be a rain interrupted race, as the drivers are getting ready for the 5 red lights, which will go out any minute now.
Yeah. Got 15 seconds before this title decider begins. Who is everyone rooting for in the chat? There's 11 people watching, so get your suggestions in the chat on who you want to win or who you think's gonna win. I, for one, have no idea.
Yeah, it's all to play for here.
As we get ready for the lights. Red light. Skeeven actually has opted for a set of soft, so his start is going to be compromised. And Bad Boy on the super, so lights out, and Skeeven actually got a good start there. Bad Boy down to P5. He'll need to defend the inside. Watch out for Bad Boy in the Renault though. He's down into P5, so he's in that position where he will lose the title. I know it's only lap 1, but a bit of a dive on from Lambo.
My goodness, Skeeven, that was nearly raced over from there. Lambo just misses rear and left there. And so Skeeven just survived. Now, this is the big thing with starting on the solo compound tyre, is he's going to be well under attack for the back 4. But Skeeven does keep his position. And Bad Boy is still in P5 here.
Yeah,
and he dropped a fair bit.
Yeah, he did drop a fair bit. But Skeeven, on them soft tyres, getting a good start and getting a lead, which is more important. But behind, we've got Bad Boy in P5. He needs to finish full 4 above if Skeven does indeed win this race. And at the moment, 1.1 to Z on Mercedes. You've got to say it's looking very very good for Skeven at the minute on the harder tyre as well. So the pace from Skeven right now is just incredible, and all the guys behind him on Supersoft playing catch up. But more importantly,
just like to say, yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah, just like to say, so second, third, and fourth were battling really hard there. That's why Skeven managed to pull out almost a second and a half on them, and this is allowing actually Bad Boy to catch up here, because Bad Boy he was in a bit of a issue there, so he dropped back to about a tenth or two, but he's closed right back up because of this battle. And yeah, as you said, Skeven is pulling ahead, but they do seem to be catching him up a little bit now.
Yeah. And more importantly, Lambo and Mercedes, they get close. I think that's going to allow Darren to go through for P3. Can Bad Boy go through as well? No, he can't. He's going to have a run on Lambo though. Will Bad Boy go for a dive into turn 1? Ooh, no, he doesn't. Stays to the outside of the Ferrari driver. Will Lambo give him the space? He does. Good races from these two so far. And Lambo keeps a position on traction out of turn 2, I believe it is.
Yeah, Lambo with some very racy tactics, and almost collided with Skeven, bit of contact with Mercedes. I don't think that really paid off for him. He has to keep a cool head in his early stages, because you can't win a race on lap 1, but you sure can lose on lap 1. But he's lucky to be in the position he's in right now.
Yep, I agree. But of course, with it being dry, I mean, obviously, Bad Boy said himself he's pretty quick in the dry, and so far, I mean, I know it's only lap 2, but I'm not seeing the pace that Skeven's shown, because he's on the harder tyre as well. So
yeah, I mean, Skeven has been lucky that he didn't really get any troubles on the first lap, and the guys behind him were battling. That's why the gap was almost at one point up to 1.5 seconds. But now it's been steadily decreasing. It's under a second now. So my guess would be Skeven will be under attack very soon. But he's on a completely different strategy. His tires basically, by the end of the super soft life, his tires are gonna come back, and then he can fight and pull away. So if I had a choice to be anyone on track, I would definitely be Skeven on the harder compound tire.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. But behind Bad Boy, Grownsby on the soft tires, staying with Bad Boy. So just a sign of how quick the McLaren driver is. But behind him, we've got Poe, who is now going to receive DRS, as is mostly everyone on track apart from AMD and Skeven. So this is just one big Red Bull sandwich again, as we saw last week. I think it was.
Yeah, most definitely. And just a quick word on Bad Boy: he's definitely on the attack on Lambo. He was nearly alongside him, but he pulled out, and I think he's actually might go for move here. He thinks twice. Championship on the line. He's not going to throw it away, and he just backs out and ducks back into the slipstream of Lambo.
Yep, still early days in this race, but one thing we haven't really thought about is the fast left-right sequence around Malaysia. I mean, when you've got worn tyres and you've got people running 10-11 ballast, it's so easy for the back end to just snatch out and end up in the wall. I mean, don't be surprised if we see a couple people do that tonight.
Yeah, because honestly, won't be a surprise with those glitch setups, no doubt about that.
Yeah, very easy to do that, especially with the I think like 2.9 wings. I think mostly everyone's going to be running tonight.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty much how the game's made. So you can't really blame anyone for using that. But yeah, as you said, just you maybe take a bit too much speed on entry, and you're gonna pay for that on exit, and it's so easy to dip a wheel in the dirt and just absolutely lose it. But Lambo, I'm quite surprised by his pace. He's keeping pace. He's not dropping too far back from Darren and the likes of Mercedes. He's keeping good. I think he actually pulled out a bit from Bad Boy. So yeah, he's looking. He could actually be Skeven's best mate come the end of the race if he stays like this.
Yeah, definitely. But what you got to think of though, the McLaren driver behind, he is on the soft tyres as well. So I think Skeven and Grownsby will be able to do that one stop. But I think the guys on the supers will maybe have to push for one stop. I don't know what strategy. I think you can go supers medium.
I think you can as well. I don't think they'll go for I'm pretty sure the two-stop is slower. Even if they did go two-stop, they wouldn't have to use the hardest compounded tire. My guess would be that they would stick it out on the supers when they come dead at the end of life, and try to stretch out those mediums. But it's not easy. And personally, I'm actually quite surprised to see the vast majority of the grid being on the faster compounded tire, because usually when it does rain, you just go up to the next hardest compound. So it was quite a bit of a surprise to see a lot of them on the supers rather than the softs. I would have definitely gone for the softs personally, but maybe they planned out for their strategy, and this was always going to be the part of it.
Yeah, and you all mentioned to ZR Mercedes gap now 6 tenths.
Yeah,
so,
he's catching scheming. Yeah.
I mean, ZR Mercedes is dropping Darren, but I mean, Bad Boy's he's still not able to make any movement from 5th place.
I mean, the Mercedes pace has been very, very impressive. He's probably the quickest guy out there on track, and definitely the quickest super soft runner. As he has a little look on Skeven, that was a bit too far back. Take it easy. He is on a harder tire. Don't want to throw anything just yet.
Yeah, but of course,
obviously he's not in.
If ZR Mercedes does, take out Skeven, then I mean,
it's going to be absolute fireworks here, boys. I don't think that'll happen, but it have to be said, ZR Mercedes is an aggressive driver. There's no it's not a bad thing. It's probably even a better thing, but Skeven isn't going to take a line down, and I can't imagine Skeven fighting back even when he's on a different compound tire. And as you did say about that exit there, Mercedes nearly lost the back end there and nearly spun it. I don't think it would have got damaged, but that was a bit twitchy from him. But he's still within half a second of Skeven, so Skeven's going to be feeling the pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, all the while Skeven stays in front, them soft tyres are just going to get quicker and quicker compared to the likes of the super soft runners, which are ZR Mercedes, Darren Sinclair, Lambo, and Bad Boy. So, I mean, the top 5 all within a second of each other. It's been a very good start to the race, of course. Yeah, go on, sorry.
That's all good. I'm being quite impressed with this race so far. Look at that. You can see 5 people in one shot of the camera. That's what you like to see. Even with the lower turnout, it's still good to see that. These guys still can race competitively, and that's definitely what you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just shows that how close these guys are on pace as well.
Yeah, have a look at Mercedes now.
Oh wow, 2 tenths. Oh, is he going to go for it? He is down the inside. Skeven does give him the space, but a little bit of contact. Skeven falls wide.
As I said, Skeven's definitely not going to take this one lying down. He does try to fight back, but the tyres isn't there yet for him. Yeah. The super softs still are quicker. Skeven would have to try sit in the slipstream, try to get there as. I don't think fighting him would be the smartest option long term. If you're looking at the long term of the race. But we'll see what he's going to do.
I mean, it is lap 6, so these superstars will start to go off in the next lap or two. So maybe we will see ZR Mercedes and everyone around Skeven start to drop off the pace a little bit, and them softs will start to come into their own. As Bad Boy still in 5th place, and he's actually getting dropped by Lambo. So
wow, yeah, I mean he is getting dropped a lot by Lambo. Well, not a lot, but a lot more than it once was, definitely, without a doubt. I think he's outside DRS. No, not yet. He's about 3 tenths just inside DRS, but it's possibly he could be conserving his tires here and not pushing as hard to maybe draw them out a bit longer. That is a possibility.
Yeah, that is true.
We don't know about that, so you have to keep his eye out for that. As Mercedes. He still hasn't pulled out a second, so maybe, as Cliffy said, maybe those tires are starting to drop him now. As Skeven is within half a second of him, I don't think he would go for a move here. Commentator's curse, and now he gets the line, closes up. So Skeven is keeping pace here, and if he can keep pace with the super soft runners, that's going to be very, very good for him, for his strategy to know that he can keep pace in the harder combat tire.
Yeah, and just as you said that, I saw Skeven go on the curb on the exit of turn 2, so I mean, sort of heart in mouth moment, because obviously Skeven being a part of the same esports team as myself and Frisky, so of course we want to see him do well, but we also don't want to be very biased towards Skeven and not
of course
sort of back chat Bad Boy. He's done fantastic this season, but the pace that he's promised or said he's shown, I'm just not seeing it yet.
I mean, I've just been watching Bad Boy over the last few corners. He looks very calm. He looks very composed. He's not overdriving the car. So I know I'm gonna fight Bad Boy's corner here, and I'm gonna say that he is just trying to keep it calm, cool, collected. I think he knows that he possibly does have the pace over a few guys ahead of him, and maybe this is all part of his plan. You know, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, these 5 cars are so close to each other. Absolutely great to see. Bad Boy did drop P6 by nearly 2 seconds, so I don't think P6 will be too much of a problem for him right about now.
Yeah. So we're at lap 7, and as it stands, again, I know we keep on going on about it, but it is of course a talking point of this season. If Bad Boy does finish fifth, and he does lose the title to Skeven, who well, I mean, Skeven's currently in P2, but
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of strategy, I feel like Skeven has got a massive advantage over the guys around him who are on Supersoft and will have to be ducking in the pits in the next couple laps.
And here's a valid point to say: if Skeven can keep up with this when he's on a slow compounded tire, then you know when they're on equal compounded tire, possibly if these super soft runners are going to go to the mediums, you know, more than not, more likely is that Skeven is going to actually pull away here and you know, not really get contested for P1. That's what I'm looking at right now. If he can stay with the top guys, as I do say that he has dropped a bit from Mercedes here, and he is going to be under attack from Darren soon if he's not careful. He's almost a second back from Mercedes.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I just think Skeven's in too much of a strong position to mess this up now. I feel like lap 8 he's going to start gaining on ZR Mercedes, and I mean, at the moment, yeah, he's dropping pace, but he has made a few mistakes this lap. I see him coming out the fast left right-hander. He got on the grass on exit, and that indeed allowed Darren to catch up. But Bad Boy now within sort of striking distance, but Bad Boy isn't activating the DRS, which is very strange.
Interesting. Maybe because he doesn't want to gain too much over the back straight, and he wants to gain it over the pit straight if he is going to go for a move. But Skeven just missed out on DRS from Mercedes, so he didn't have DRS for both of these zones, and this is hurting him a lot. And I'm actually surprised that he didn't get Darren didn't go for a move here, because Darren did have DRS and Skeven didn't. So you know, he would have a lot greater straight line speed. So surprisingly, he didn't go for a move here. But Skeven, you know, back on form now. He's back within a second, so he's going to get DRS come the end of the lap if it stays like this.
Yep. And while you were just going through that with Skeven, I was just watching the battle between the Williams and a McLaren driver, Poe, and
just cut to that now.
Rowansbeer, and Poe actually made the move at the final corner, but lost the back end, and the McLaren driver was able to go back down his inside, and they were actually side by side throughout turn 2, but in the end, the McLaren driver staying in front of Poe.
Yeah, just about.
So battles all over the place, which is good to see.
I said it. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Oh, as a Bad Boy, you know, coming coming into the third sector, he just lost the backhand there, and he lost it again, and he's losing viable time for P4, and he seems to be dropping back more and more. The gap has been bigger than I've ever seen before. Has he got wide again, and he lost the back end, so Bad Boy's not even going to be winning the second of P4. He lost about easily 5-6 tenths from, you know, about 2-3 corners, so maybe the pressure's getting to him, and as you can see here, if Cliffy's on the camera on Bad Boy, he visually dropped back.
I see the mistake he made coming when he lost the back end the first time, and I just sort of went off him, and then obviously when he said about he made another mistake, and I just went on to him, and I was 1.7 seconds behind what he needs to win this title.
This is possibly title deciding, because before these top 5 were in the train, so they're all getting DRS, so you know they're all sort of like carrying each other in a way. They weren't really like losing out pace wise. Now if these 4 can carry on like this and carry the pace out, if he gets dropped, he could be in real trouble here.
Yeah,
he could be in real trouble if he doesn't catch up. And now he has to push the car a bit harder. This when you start to see more mistakes creeping, so Bad Boy's not looking too comfortable right now. He is pushing hard, or harder I should say. I think he is catching up a little bit, but not the position he wants to be right now.
Yeah, so it's this man here, Skeven, who is sort of in the driving seat. I know he's not winning, but I just think because he's on the soft tyres, I feel like he is just in an almighty position to take this race by the scruff of its neck after the pit stops, of course.
I would say this is a positive thing to mention, is that if the super soft runners are going to go to the mediums, which I most likely think they do, Skeever's going to stay out a little bit longer, most likely. Now, when these super soft runners go in the medium and Skeever's out on old softs, they're going to be lapping quicker than him. So the undercut is possible. So maybe Skeever actually might even get jumped in the pits. So he has to fight back through the pack and maybe even battle Bad Boy wall to wall in the finale. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe Skeever might even pit on the same lap as them just to make sure that he doesn't get jumped. I don't know your take on that, but I think that's a valid talking point.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about strategy, and you can indeed go. I think you can go super soft, soft. So I think I don't know. I think if these super soft runners eke out their run just by a lap or two, they can go on the soft tyre for the end of the race. But then that of course means that Skeeven will be on the super softs. Now, from experience in my F1 race, I know for a fact that them super softs at the end of the race are OP as hell.
Yeah.
So definitely. I mean, if Skeeven is aiming for that, then you can expect Skeeven to come back late in the race.
So you think Skeeven's going to hold his tyres out to what, like about lap 18 maybe?
Yeah, no, I'd say like lap 16, 17, I'd say.
So do 12 laps on the supers. That's possible. I suppose. I mean, we got yellow flag.
Darren's off.
Oh no!
That could be the title over for Skeeven.
Oh
Darren
no!
Losing the back end there, and now I think Bad Boy is woken up from his sleep because now he's 3 tenths behind Lambo.
Wow.
Wow, that could have massive. I mean,
that's a big shock.
Darren pits.
Darren does go into the pits, yeah.
And of course, I mean,
maybe those tyres are finished.
Yeah, maybe. I know Darren won't be happy with that, but of course, Darren hasn't really been here the last couple of weeks. So,
as Bad Boy and Lambo are fighting wall to wall, and Bad Boy does go straight around the outside of Lambo. So even if Darren didn't spin out, Bad Boy would have been in a net P4 anyway. So maybe that would have been no difference to the title outcome. But no doubt that was going to be very disappointed with that.
So at the moment, Bad Boy wins the title. I mean, Bad Boy would have been absolutely just relieved to see a car in front of him spin off. Yeah. But
I mean, only a couple of laps ago, it looked like Skeeman was in a real good shout for actually winning the title with Bad Boy being in P5 and even dropping a bit from Lambo. But a couple of laps later, it almost looks like it's set in stone that Bad Boy is going to take this F2 title.
Yeah.
What a turn of events here in Malaysia.
I mean, lap 12 as well, so these guys should be pitting this up. And look at the gap. Skeever now fighting ZR Mercedes. I think ZR Mercedes will be pitting this lap, as will Bad Boy and Lambo. We see.
If he doesn't pit, Skeever's going to overtake him anyway, so wouldn't be surprised to see Mercedes jump to the pits, which he does, and Skeever does stay out.
Yep, Bad Boy's in. Lambo's in. So this is it. This is where the race is going to be decided, I think, on tyre choices. Yeah,
definitely. So all the super soft runners making it 12 laps, which is a very good amount into the race.
Yeah, Bad Boy is going on to...
Let's have a look what he's doing.
Softs.
What? On my screen it was supers, but
yeah, I saw supers for a second, but it's on softs now.
I was like, no way. So let's look at the guys around him. So he's on softs, Mercedes on softs, Lambo's on softs as well, and Darren is on softs as well. So they were all going to be on softs. Darren just a little bit further back, sadly. He's almost about he's definitely going to be disappointed with that.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Like,
definitely.
Those things can happen. They can happen, especially on the heavily wheeled tyres.
Yeah, but I mean, Poe is 6th place and he's right behind Lambo, so he's done very well to sort of pit and go on the mediums, and he must have been setting some good laps to be within 6 tenths of Lambo. I don't know how he's done that.
I'm not too sure. I'm pretty. If he's pitted, he has what? How has he done that? Did the softs really lose him that much time? No, the supers. He was on supers as well. Pole pitted on lap 10. Wow.
So within a couple
I'm not.
laps, he's managed to pull quite some gap.
That's impressive. Because Paul was like nowhere near. He was what, like about at least minimum 6-7 seconds back minimum from the top guys, and he seemed to have just pulled it back out of nowhere. But he is getting dropped now, as he's on the slower tire. So maybe by the end of the race he might come back here because those tires will be fresher.
Yeah.
As they're the harder copper on the tire.
Yeah, and I think Skeven is going for the super soft strategy. He's still out lap 14.
Yeah.
So expect
Yeah,
Skeven
he
to
can't
be
go medium
flying.
now.
Nah.
Just the quick things to mention: the gap between Skeven and Grosbeer when they were first and second a couple of laps ago was about 6 seconds, 6.1, and now it's 7.5. So that really just highlights Skeven's pace because they're on exactly the same tire compound, same tire life, and Skeven just pulling out an absolute mile. So that really just showed that Skeven's pace is extremely impressive, as the same with the top guys.
Yeah. So just watch out when he pits, because he will be on them super softs and they are very, very quick, I must say. So I think Skeven, I don't know, I think Skeven still can win this race, but it will definitely all depend on whether someone can make an impact on Bad Boy and maybe even push him down a position or two.
So Skeven is going to take the pain when he pits. He's going to take the pain now, take the pain when he pits. He's going to drop back a few positions, but come the end of the race, he's going to be like an absolute...
He's going to be a rocket.
Bullet coming out of a gun, yeah. He's going to be rapid.
So Skeven in lap 15, Grosbeer does indeed decide to pit, and he's actually gone onto a set of medium tyres.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, might be a mistake from him.
I mean, those mediums are really not the best tire. I mean, quick to make, AMD hasn't been talked about all race, but he went onto the mediums pretty early on, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he came for the mediums on about lap 7, and he's pretty much been nowhere the whole race. So the medium tire doesn't really seem like a good choice. It really just seems to be about the supers and the softs.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure about that strategy, but it might pay off. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This race has obviously been very, very good, but you just got to feel, if a few other people turned up,
yeah,
then you got to feel that Bad Boy would have been in a lot of trouble, because the pace he showed at the early stages were non-existent.
I mean, instead of him being down at P5, he could have been maybe down P7, P8, P9, and then he would be in real big trouble. Whereas Skeven would be P2 at worst. So, yeah, sad to see the turnout wasn't as much as nobody would have liked.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people watching will obviously start to think, is it the league? Is it the people who run it? Skeven and Bad Boy are the admins, and I can safely say they do a fantastic job, and they've done a fantastic job all season long. Not just
without a shadow of a doubt.
Not just on track, but off the track as well. They've been fantastic admins, and of course to both be fighting for the title, and whoever wins would of course get a spot in F1, I believe. So it'd be good. I think both of them deserve a spot in F1. To be honest, they both showed at times how dominant they can be, and I mean, if Skeven does end up losing the title, then he won't. I mean, obviously, if he does win the race, then he's done all he can on track. So
yeah, of course.
He knows that there's nothing more he could have done. So I don't think he'll have any regrets. I think he'll have maybe regrets of people not turning up to the final race. I mean, it's a finale. You want to end the game on a high, and with eight people for a finale, it is disgraceful. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. It is important to say that, of course, this game is pretty much dead. There's no really hype around it, so I can understand from that perspective. And of course, people have real life can get in the way of online races, so they have to take other things into account. But yeah, this little people, it's sad to see. But as we get back to the races, Skeven is going to pit now, taking the pit line entry very, very slowly. Definitely didn't want to get a time penalty, so I think he probably lost about 1 or 2 seconds there. But It's a whole lot better than losing about 10 seconds of penalties. As Clivy, as you said, he is going to go into the supers as we expected. So now he's going to be looking very quick as Mercedes did jump in.
And Bad Boy, I think, is going to jump him too. He is.
Bad Boy as well, yeah.
Will Lambo jump him? Lambo's jumped him as well.
Lambo as well. Now, that's exactly what I said about him taking the pain, in that stint, come the end of that stint at that pit as well, because he's going to drop back a lot. And if I'm being honest, I'm not really that surprised to see him down the P4, because, those fresh softs are going to be so much quicker than those worn softs that Skeevan had on.
Definitely, and you're just going to see him now racking in the gap. He's now within a second of Lambo. All he's got to do is make up, I believe, 6-7 seconds, and then he's on the back of Mercedes. He can do it. We've seen he has got the pace tonight. But then
he just needs to keep it clean.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do. And you can see the gap now, 6/10. So the tyres for Skeevan definitely doing what they should be doing, and hopefully be able to make the move on Lambo in the DRS. But it is Bad Boy who, at the moment, is going to win the title. I mean, it can all change. We saw, I think, in F5 yesterday, someone was on for third place in the standings, and they ended up retiring on, I think, on the second to last lap. So, I mean anything can happen. Anything, especially at Malaysia as well. It's such a hard track to master. And now Skeevan within 3/10 of Lambo. Skeevan will go for this move, I think, regardless. He's going to go down the inside.
100%.
Get the move done, and he does indeed. Go down the inside. Ooh, a little bit of contact.
Bit close there.
Yeah, nothing too major though. Lambo does indeed and give up the place.
Not much of a surprise to see Skeevan go for that move, but Lambo does seem to have a very good run here. Is he going to try it up the inside? He has a look, but on those harder comp on the tire, that was never really going to work out. As Skeevan is up into P3, and he's going to be chasing down his championship championship rival, which is of course Bad Boy. So we actually are going to see them have a battle on track, which is great to see regardless of how this race went.
Yep, and you got to think, if he was Bad Boy, because Skeevan will eventually catch up. Will you just let him go, or will you try and fight and try and keep him behind?
That's actually a very good point, because if you do, try and fight, well, even if they let's say the worst thing happens, they fight and they have a bit of contact, they lose time, whatever. That's gonna affect Skeevan more, because Skeevan needs to win. That's gonna affect Skeevan more than Bad Boy. So Bad Boy might just say, caution to the win, let's actually have a fight on track. But what I'm trying to say is there's more to lose for Skeevan than Bad Boy. So not really going to be surprised if Bad Boy actually does have a fight here. But my guess is that the pace on the super, I don't think he can put on much of a fight, as he does at the quickest lap of the race with a 33.9. Yeah,
and Lambo is staying with Skeevan. So I mean, you said about if Bad Boy and Skeevan do fight, then it will sort of hinder Skeevan more than Bad Boy. But you got to think, if they do fight and Lambo is still within a second, then Lambo will effectively could put Bad Boy back down into P4.
Yeah, that's a very true point. I'll be riding on board with him for the last lap or so, and he's been driving clean. He has been keeping pace surprisingly, with considering how much quicker those tires are. But now Skeevan is just really starting to pull ahead, and from Skeevan, Bad Boy is just inside. So my guess would be like maybe a lap 21-ish. I think Skeevan will be on Bad Boy's tail. Yeah,
I think I agree with that. I mean, he's closing quite a lot. I mean, the gap now 2.3.
But he nearly closed down a second in like 2 sectors. So yeah, he's looking rapid without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and Bad Boy is slowly eating at that 3-second gap to ZL Mercedes at 2.5 now. I've been looking at that and monitoring it the last couple of laps, and he is starting to catch up to ZL Mercedes. So we could, if these gaps continue to drop, we could have a 4-way fight for the lead. And I mean, that would of course help Skeevan, because obviously Bad Boy, as we've seen in the last couple of races, is capable to making mistakes, then we could see Bad Boy make a little bit of a mistake and maybe even chip his wing off.
Yeah, that's very true. But Skeeman goes a tenth quicker on this lap, even though he was battling with Lambo, and he sets a 33.8. So fastest lap amongst faster lap amongst faster lap. Skeeman has really put it in, and is going to be only a matter of time before he catches the top 2 runners without a shadow of a doubt. So we are going to see a battle for the race win, regardless of what happens. So that's always great to see in the league race.
Oh yeah, definitely. BC put on a great show like they've done all season, and it isn't decided by one stupid move by someone, as we've seen so many other leagues decided by a stupid move. But yeah, I mean, Abby Odin in the chat is sort of saying to me, say our Bad Boy could make a mistake, or say Bad Boy could retire. But I'm not going to say that, Abby Odin. I'm not going to say that, Abby Odin. Commentator's curse.
I mean, technically anybody can retire at any stage. It's really not over until you cross that checkered flag. Even if he could be in, you could be in a championship winning position, and it could all change in a split second. That happens in league racing. That happens in racing in real life. It's entirely possible. So Bad Boy is in an extremely strong position for the title. There's no doubt about it. But he's got to keep his concentration. He's got to be hitting those apexes, picking up the throttle properly, not losing too much time from the the guy ahead, and try to keep it calm and collected. As Skeeman does go a little bit quicker once again. That maybe might be off-putting for Bad Boy. Keep on seeing Skeeman, purple lap, purple all the time. Psychologically, that might have an effect on him. So it's going to be interesting to see from the end of the race.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bad Boy being in P2, I think he knows that most of the job is done. I mean, there are still 7 laps to go. So yeah, I mean, as you said, it's not over yet, and of course anything can happen, as we've seen in the last couple of days in the other PSGL races. So I mean, Skeevan will want to just sort of get past Bad Boy as quickly as he can, because I mean, Bad Boy is closing in on ZR Mercedes. So
if I'm not mistaken, in about 3-4 laps, he's closing about a second. So his pace is looking extremely good. Probably the quickest guy on the soft tyres at the minute. But Skeevan is definitely the quickest guy on track, without a shadow of a doubt. He is going to catch Bad Boy. My estimation was a little bit off. I don't think he will catch him by this lap, but within the next couple of laps, he will. But the job's not done for him there. He has to still go, even if he does take Bad Boy, he has to go out and try to hunt Mercedes. But the common comfort for that is Mercedes is quite close, and he's in viewing distance from Skeevan.
Yep, and Lewis Milan asked me, who do I think is most likely to win at the moment out of Skeevan and Bad Boy? Well, I mean, I'd have to say Bad Boy. He's in a stronger position ahead of Skeevan, which is cherry on top of the cake, really. So I'd have to go with Bad Boy.
You see Lambo, he's really been dropping back lately. He for me doesn't have the pace, to hang up there with Mercedes this race. Mercedes, Bad Boy, Skeevan. It'll be interesting to see the pace from Darren as I think him and P6 are having a ding dong battle here. Yep. They've been going swapping positions constantly.
Just gone board with it.
Darren is on the softer tyres. They went around T1 and T2 pretty much side by side. So he looks like he's actually been struggling trying to overtake Rosebeer on the the harder compound tyre. So interesting to see there.
Yep, and another question. Ask
let's send them in.
How did you bottle a championship? I don't want to go into that. I'd rather not. But I mean, to answer that, I'd say I just got complacent with the gap. I'd say much like Bad Boy has. I feel like some weeks Bad Boy's gone, it's alright, I've got a gap. It's alright, I've still got like a 20-point lead. It's alright. I was very I wasn't aware of how quickly Ash was closing in on me. And yeah, a couple of races, I don't know, I could have maybe done something differently and not, I don't know, but it's just, you just get complacent and you start to think that, yeah, you've won the title. And when everyone says, oh, you've got an impossible gap, like no one's closing that, you do start to think that no one can beat you. But yeah, I just lost the title to Ash because he was obviously the quicker guy second half of the season and did deserve it. So I'm, by any means, congrats to him. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Bad Boy doesn't do a repeat. At the moment, he's not doing a repeat and is on course to win. Hopefully, he does. But yeah, that's it really.
Nothing more to be said. But it is going to be interesting if Skeever can even catch Mercedes, because the gap hasn't been. The gap's been around 9/10, 1 second, 1.1. The gap's, if I dare say, kind of been like stabilizing in a way. It's going to be interesting if Skeever can even win this race, you know, let alone Bad Boy being in the position he needs to be in for Skeever to win the title. The second half of the race hasn't been particularly too strong for Skeever. Maybe the right strategy call was to start on the supers and heading over to the softs. Because now he has to make on-track passes, which is of course going to lose him time to Mercedes, so it's quite interesting.
I think another thing to notice as well, Frisky, the clouds are getting very dark as well.
Oh yeah.
And but these past couple of races at Malaysia, when it starts raining, you more or less need to pit into straight away, because the rain just falls so heavy that you do need to indeed. The truck just gets too wet and the tyres just don't work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can hope for rain, but I mean, with there being 4 laps remaining.
I mean, yeah. Would it even really, even if it does rain, would it even matter? Would it even make a difference, you know, to the track conditions if it is too wet, or maybe just be like lap 1 up, lap 28, and then just might be a little bit of drizzle and not really have an effect. But as I'm saying, I'm not too sure. I might be wrong, but I thought I saw spots of rain, but I think I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're seeing things, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but the clouds was one thing I'm not seeing is the clouds are definitely there, and they're definitely getting a lot heavier.
Yeah, definitely, without doubt. I'm just looking to see that flash of rain pop up.
Because it's weird, some tracks, you know, it takes like 3, 4, 5 laps for like constant rain for the track to actually get wet off. Some tracks it literally will take like half a lap, and you literally have to come into. So it does vary. As if you go up to the gap up ahead, it's Bad Boy's almost within a second of Mercedes. So we actually might have an absolutely fantastic end to the race here. Mercedes, is he, you know, is he saving fuel? Is he trying to save his tires? Or maybe just doesn't have the paces? Going to be interesting to see here. Mercedes has 0.2 laps of fuel left. Wow. So he's running quite low on fuel here. And Bad Boy has the most out of the top 3 by a mile. Bad Boy always has 1+ lap of fuel. Steven has 0.6, so Steven is still in a good position, but Mercedes, you know, that fuel could do something to come down in the race.
Yep, I'm just looking for rain at this point. I mean, the clouds are dark enough for it. I mean, all we need is that flash of rain.
Also, I'd say there have to be a little bit more. There's quite a lot of, you know, you can see in the sky, quite a bit of blue spots in the sky. So I don't think it's dark enough. Like, there's a point in Malaysia, like especially Malaysia, when the cloud covers gets proper, like it is really properly dark. As Mercedes loses the back end here, he goes across the grass and he's gonna just about keep the lead here.
Bad Boy. Oh, look at Skeevan, no! Skeevan's going for it!
Skeevan's going for it!
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh my god!
No! So Skeevan goes up the inside.
Oh my god!
Mercedes waving his wheel in frustration. Skeevan goes up the inside. Bad Boy does a smart thing. He backed off. He didn't want to get in trouble. He didn't want to crash out, whatever. Skeevan was going for him properly. Skeevan goes up the inside. Obviously took Mercedes, but he just didn't manage to take Bad Boy, and Bad Boy is now leading the race, and Skeevan is close behind here. I was actually riding on board as I saw Mercedes Force India turn into a lawnmower going across the grass. That is, wasn't really expecting that, as Skeevan is going on the attack here.
Yeah, he is, and in the chat, Lewis Melania says, "Don't you think the other commentator sounds like Richie Davey?"
No way! No way.
Oh mate.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't have Richie's accent, but never mind that. Skeevan is on the attack. He couldn't actually get the move done going into T1. Mercedes is closed right up. I'm gonna say this now. I can see this ending in disaster.
Yeah, this is gonna end in tears.
It is ending in tears. I'm calling it now. These 3 guys, you know, they're quick, they're aggressive. You know, they're not gonna hold any anything back, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Coming back to the point about Richie Davey, I mean, I'm from London. I think my accent is a little bit different to Richie's, but you know, that's it's a funny comment that Steven does go ride. Yeah.
With that.
Interesting to see that Mercedes did keep pace considering his tyres were completely dirty. I'm surprised he stayed within a second of Steven. So he did seem to clean his tyres up quite quickly.
Yeah, and again, no rain. So, I mean, coming on to the end of lap 26, I feel if it did start to rain, I think these guys would just stay out anyway. Just to...
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they would gain like 20, how much is a pit stop there? Like 20, 25 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be possible for them to gain that in a lap. So, me personally, I don't even think we'll see rain here. I could be wrong, but I think it's too bright for rain personally.
Yeah, and as you said, Zed and Mercedes keeping pace as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, another driver who shows good promise in PSGL. Hopefully next season, if he does stay in F2, then he'll be fighting for the title. If he does stay up in AMD, eat your heart out.
Absolutely, he's a minute and a half behind everyone, but he's setting fastest laps on the race. So,
man on a mission.
Take that. Yeah, Steven's not going to be too happy with him taking his fastest lap, but yeah, so that is the fastest lap by about 7 tenths from Steven, because I think Steven's cooking up with a 33.8.
Yeah.
So yeah, the guy, yeah.
He's on a mission.
Of course, on much fresher tyres.
I mean, he is catching Darren, but I mean, being a minute and a half behind.
Yeah. I think personally, I think that's a bit too far back, but you know.
Yeah.
Interesting to see the gap between Steven and Bad Boy. It's been around 6-7 tenths, and Bad Boy, come the end of the race, his pace is looking very, very strong. So, you know, even if Darren didn't spin out, he was going to get P4 at minimum. You know, his pace was too strong. So right now, Steven literally has about a lap and 2 corners as it stands to try and get this race win back. You know, this championship is starting to look all but gone for Steven, unless, you know, it's literally, yeah.
No, I think Bad Boy's got it now. I think it's all power to Bad Boy now. I think he knows now. I think he knows that them supers are gone. They're past their best, and Bad Boy does indeed start the last lap of the race. And I mean, oh, it is raining though. It is raining. I just see a bit of rain.
It is raining. Yeah, I see that on the cons as well. It is raining last lap.
So we could see some interesting developments on this last lap.
But it's interesting to say that the harder compounds of tyres are actually quicker in the rain. As I've said, that Steven seems to be caught up by about 3 tenths there.
Yeah, I think Bad Boy might be taking it that little bit easy.
Yeah, I mean, he's so far ahead from like P5. Like he could literally like spin and come back and still be fine anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bad Boy's got this under control.
Bad Boy's now, yeah. I mean, the only thing that could happen now is if Bad Boy was to retire. I mean, and of course,
but even then, like he would have completed like majority of the race anyway. So yeah, even then, but so Bad Boy. So where did he qualify? P5, I think.
Yeah, P5.
So Bad Boy for P5 seems to be that he's going to take the win here from Steven. He managed to hold out Steven on the supers.
He's weaving already. I don't like that.
Sure
not gonna lie, I don't like that. I do not like that at all.
I mean, technically that's illegal. Like you can't weave like that on track, but as he nearly lost it there, but Bad Boy is going to take.
Bad Boy does take the. I don't agree with that, but I mean, Bad Boy does take the championship. So congratulations to him. Steven, unfortunate for him, just not enough people turned up tonight, and just not really in his favour. Sad on Mercedes, impressive podium to round off that, and then Lambo again in fourth. Good race for him as well. And we've got Gronsby fifth.
Very strong race.
I think Poe finished in 7th. So yeah.
I think so, yeah. And AMD in last, so yeah. So at one point, it didn't even look that he was going to get in the position he would have needed to win the championship, and then all of a sudden he's come and he's won the race. So, you know, fair play to him, congratulations to him on the F2 title. He will be going up into F1 next season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Very good drive. Kept his head calm when he made only a couple of mistakes, but that was only minor. Running a bit wide here and there. Nothing too crazy. So yeah, fair play, a worthy champion.
Yeah,
And,
I
congratulations
just
on the
don't
day.
agree with the whole weaving down the back straight first one.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously,
yeah, I mean
weaving
that's
to the line, it's like okay, but when you're weaving down the back straight, I don't know, I just don't agree with that. That's not really
yeah,
something that bodes well with me. But anyway, Bad Boy does win the championship, so he will of course be going up to F1 as you said for Skeven. Commiserations to him. He just not enough people turned
yeah,
up. If
yeah,
enough people turned up, then Bad Boy could have been in a lot of trouble. And I'm seeing in the chat that Bad Boy might be getting done for illegal blocking. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I don't think Skeven will bother too much. And Zeno Mercedes
yeah,
does run out the podium, so I don't know. It's been a good title fight all season long. Obviously, commentating I think halfway through the season, it was sort of something to pick up on and just go through. But it's been fantastic to see Skeven absolutely bite at that gap that Bad Boy did build up, and for it to be a title decider in the last race, it was very good to see. But in terms of next season, of course, it will be on the next game, F1 2018, which I know we all can't wait for. I think
yeah,
we're commentating next season, Frisky. If you're free and you want to do it, then by all means.
yeah. I'm not too sure if I'll be league racing at that time, but if I'm not, I'll definitely be here without doubt.
Yeah, okay then. So that's been it for PSGL F2. My name's been Cliffy. I'll be joined by Frisky, and we'll see you next season on F1 2018 for PSGL F2. Thank you and goodbye.